Hi everyone, and welcome to Press X here on the Geek Show with me, Rob, and over there is also Rob.
Hello there.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking more about video games, which we love talking about, but in particular we're going to be talking about virtual reality and augmented reality, and we're going to be seeing where the future is with these two things. So, Rob.
Yes?
What do you know about augmented reality games? Let's start off there.
Augmented reality. It's, as far as I can tell, it's only really had like a home on mobile games where you have like a camera or a map app and the game will put something on that thing which is adding to reality. It's augmenting reality. I haven't really seen it in anything else other than mobile games, but that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about games like Pokemon Go, that sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah, and there was that one with they put zombies on, and it made you run from place to place, avoiding zombies on the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Pokemon Go. There were other games. I mean, the PlayStation Vita was trying to push the augmented reality angle with games like Invisimals, for example.
Yeah.
And you also had, I mean, you've got games like Ingress, which I think was also a Niantic one from 2012. That one received some interest way back in the day as well. But you got loads of others.
Pokemon Go is the big one.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but it got people out and active when they wouldn't have otherwise. So that it's a good side effect of it, but in my opinion, I don't think there's an awful lot could be done with AR games.
Okay.
Yet.
Okay. Because the thing is, you come down to what actually counts as a game, don't you, with AR games?
Yeah, it's much more basic, I think.
It is a lot more basic, and I think part of that is because the Internet of Things is something that I think would really help with augmented reality gaming. You know, when you have, say, a fridge or a television or something like that, something that is already interacting with the Internet. When you've got that, it basically helps connect with augmented reality games, and you form a network where you can actually play a game anywhere, because the whole point of augmented reality games is that you can literally play a game anywhere in reality.
Well, augmented reality goes a bit further than that, as well as like camera apps where you can take a photo of something and then the onboard AI will search for that thing online.
Yeah.
So it's a practical technology, AR.
Yes, it is. And you've got games like Sharks in the Park, which is a very bizarre game, by the way.
That just sounds like sort of a digital version of The Floor is Lava.
It is kind of like that.
If you haven't played The Floor is Lava, it's basically when you're very young, you're sat on the sofa and you throw some of the cushions on the floor, and you're not allowed to touch the floor because the floor is lava.
Yeah. Or as we called it, lava floor.
All that. That works too.
You guys were a lot more grammatically correct than we were.
Yeah. Small consolation, I guess.
Yeah. But, I mean, you've got so many augmented reality games now, and it got me thinking that maybe there is a place for augmented reality games at some point in the future.
Yes.
But then I look at what happened with VR.
Well, VR is noble. I mean, it had the PSVR, it's got the Oculus Rift, there's the HTC Vive, I think was the one.
The Vive was the other one. And then there's all of the VR stuff on Android and iOS devices.
Yeah. It basically amounts to sticking some stupid bit of dumb kit on your face, and you are in the game, or your hands are, and your perspective is. Anyway, we're not talking about the holodeck in Star Trek levels of VR here.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about VR is that it literally can be the future of games.
Yeah, I think there's excellent potential in the format. I think it's just the type of game that is consistently pushed out in this stuff. It seems that first-person shooters have like a great deal of the focus on it, and not a lot else is really there. So I don't think there's a lot of opportunity for innovation. I mean, the closest game for innovation in VR was that Star Trek big bridge game.
See, that is an aspect of VR that I really wanted to talk about, and it's the main aspect that I wanted to talk about was the innovation and the imagination. I actually agree with you completely. There are far too many first-person shooter games in VR gaming. and there aren't enough. Right, I had to wait.
Even without shooter games, just joke games like Job Simulator and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Or that what was it, Light Sword, whatever it is, the one where it's basically a lightsaber, right? Things like that. They're just very simple games, joke games, or first-person shooters, and I hate that. I had to wait, was it 20, 30 years for an actual adventure RPG that I really wanted to play, that I thought was basically, this is how adventure games should be in gaming. And that was
there's also some flight games as well.
Yeah.
Let's not misrepresent them.
But I'm talking about Outward. I had to wait like 20, 30 years for that game, right? I would love to see Outward as a VR game.
That's Outward.
Outward, where you don't die, but you lose all your progress in terms of time and items and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But it is a dyed-in-the-wool adventure game where you have to plan your adventure. You have to have the right equipment. You have to know where to go, where to camp, where are the safe areas, that sort of thing. You have to manage your hunger, your thirst. This is the kind of stuff that VR can do, but they choose not to. It's the kind of game it's the kind of really complex, really innovative game that I want to see on VR. Because that's the type of game that I would buy a VR kit for.
There's nothing it's that killer IP, to use the industry terminology. There's no killer IP that says, of either AR or VR, that says you need this. This is the must-play thing on this sort of type of gaming.
Yeah, and that's the point. And the reason why there's no killer IP on VR, or in VR, and even with AR, there's no killer IP with AR gaming either. And the reason for that is because the developers they're simply doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, I think it goes a bit further than that. I think the problem is that none of it really has the support.
Yeah.
You can make something mainstream if you choose to make something mainstream. And with it being let's take Xbox, for example, the Xbox One. I know a lot of people are annoyed with the bundling of the Kinect and knocking the price up.
Yeah.
But they created like a market there where they could basically do whatever the hell they want with that sort of AR gaming.
Yeah.
And really progress and push it forward. But I don't know whether you want to call it cowardly, but that's how I'm going to refer to it. They did the cowardly thing of releasing like a new version, or like altering the packs that were sold in shops where it was just the console. Because as a concept, it might have needed fine-tuning, it might have needed development, it might have needed whatever, but Kinect was that platform to make that killer IP, to make AR or VR gaming, like the new evolution of gaming.
Kinect would have worked wonders for augmented reality gaming, because that's basically what it is. It's like the Wii, right? The Wii was basically augmented reality gaming when you get right down to it. It wasn't gaming in the sense that we knew it.
Because there was like a camera, wasn't it? You had like a camera, a little light bar camera thing in front of the TV, and you moved the controller, and the respective characters on the game moved as you moved.
Yeah, it was basically augmented reality gaming. The Kinect was the same thing. The PlayStation Move is the same thing. And this is one of the things that I think is interesting about augmented reality gaming, is that everybody seems to think AR gaming is, you need a camera, you point the camera in a specific direction, and on your screen it does a certain thing.
And even before that, a lot of the games are basically only party games.
Yeah.
But on those formats. Those formats, anyway.
Yeah, but everyone seems to have forgotten the lessons of the Kinect and the Wii and the Move, which is that the camera can point at you instead. And Sony did some great stuff with their iToy games.
I can't even remember that so long ago.
The iToy games were on the PlayStation 2.
I just remember it, and the name.
Yeah.
It's gone back over a very long way.
Because you remember the PlayStation 2 had a camera.
Yeah, I remember it, but I just don't remember any games or any...
Yeah, there was iToy and iPad, and they used the camera.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why on the PSP, when Invisibles first came out with augmented reality gaming, you had this camera attachment for the PSP. And then when it came out when Invisibles came out on the PS Vita, it was like proper AR stuff.
Yeah.
I remember when I reviewed Invisibles on the PS Vita, I was pointing the camera at different coloured objects in the house to try and find these little critters. This was well before Pokemon Go as well.
It's good for gaming because gaming's a very static pastime, isn't it?
Yeah, gaming is a very static pastime. But that's one of the things about augmented reality gaming, where I think that it has a slight advantage over VR gaming, is that VR gaming is very invasive.
I'm going to say something which is incredibly controversial for two people who hated the movie. But I feel like AR and VR, its obvious endpoint is what was positioned in the Ready Player One movie.
I disagree.
That's a potential endpoint, though, because that is much more active.
It's a potential endpoint, but I think I understand exactly what you mean, and we'll get to that in a second. But let me finish this bit off first. VR games are very invasive in that you have to buy extra equipment, stuff like that, to play a VR game. You have to buy a VR visor or helmet or one of those Google Cardboard things and put your phone in it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas augmented reality games, you've probably already got the stuff to play an AR game. Yes or no?
Yeah, it's your phone usually, or your tablet, or laptop,
or if you've got an old Xbox 360, you probably got to Kinect with it. If you got
I do
an old
really
Nintendo
think the
Wii,
Xbox should I do think the Xbox should stand by the Kinect. I really do.
But if you've got an old Nintendo Wii, you've already got an AR game system in your house. Right? That's what I mean. You've probably already got the stuff for AR games because we didn't notice that they were AR games. We just accepted them into our homes.
Whereas it's the case with a lot of the stuff that are ahead of the actual curve of the industry.
Yeah, but you raised an interesting point there with Ready Player One. I disagree with the whole idea of Ready Player One. I think that 70 years on, we're still not obsessed with World War II and all of
I don't mean any of that stuff. I mean, as far as active, going into that game world.
Well, see, this is the thing. I think we can learn a lot from science fiction over in the East, where they do a lot of VR science fiction.
I know. I was just using Ready Player One as a bit more of an accessible reference point.
No, well, the reason I'm bringing up the science fiction of the East is because Ready Player One barely scratched the surface of what is possible if you use your imagination with VR. Whereas if you look at stories like The Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, Ark, that sort of thing, where you basically have an entire world to explore. You are basically an adventurer in an entire world. You can go explore. You can basically do whatever job you want. You can train however you want. That, I think, is the ultimate endpoint for VR. So basically it becomes like a second life to your real world life.
Yeah,
it becomes like a second world.
Like that thing that they have in the Ready Player One. I don't know if they have any other adaptations, but like something that you move on.
Yeah.
So you're physically moving through the world. You're not just sat there.
See,
you actually move too.
The interesting thing when you look at the technology side of things in Eastern sci-fi is that they generally use pods and you basically float in the pod. And I suppose you would use like haptic feedback, some kind of haptic system to basically generate the sensation of movement.
I think physically moving will be better than a sensation of moving.
Yeah, but we don't know what VR technology is going to be like in the future.
It's where the real games innovation is going forward, because as games are currently, it's just bigger worlds, fancier graphics, bit more detail.
So here's a question for you then. In fact, just two questions to finish this off then. First one, do you think we'll ever see like a heads-up display for games? So basically, it won't just be you playing the game. You'll have something like a Google Glass or some similar kind of thing that you may wear, or that Scout thing that they have in Dragon Ball that all the Dragon Ball fans want.
No.
But you'll have something like
if it's going to be anything, it's going to be like some sort of evolution of the projector technology.
Okay.
Where it can project things onto, I don't know, something. I'm not even thinking this far ahead. Just some sort of projector that does AR stuff.
See, the weird thing is, I'm saying about a heads-up display, but I do know that somebody tried to design a pair of glasses that had little screens on, where you could basically sit there and play your games. It had like earphones and little screens on the lenses, and you could sit there and play your games without disturbing anybody.
The thing is, if it's a projector, it's something which isn't invasive. If you have to physically put something on your face to play a game, I think immediately making it something which isn't going to take off all that well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said, do you think we'll ever see like HUDs for games?
Hopefully.
The other question that I've got though is what happens if you combine AR and VR? So
Complicated stuff, which is probably an episode all on its own.
Yeah. So you basically create your virtual reality world, but you can use augmented reality within that world.
Yeah, I think we visit that in its own sort of special show because that's some sci-fi thinking, and we're already at the end here.
Yeah, we are. So anyway, let us know what you think about augmented reality gaming and virtual reality gaming. We are always interested to know what everyone thinks. So leave us a comment below. And if you want to see more videos of this type, then hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I've been Rob.
So have I.
We'll see you later.